First of all, I'm going to start by telling you that I love e-bikes. I've ridden quite a few e-bikes, and this one is quite a bit different than some of the others I've ridden. It is so big and beefy. It has a really, really large battery that is removable, but has a lot of capacity, which means that it can go for a long time, go for a lot of miles. I actually rode it up here to my studio from my house, and I'm going to ride it home. I can do that several times without having to recharge it, so I have confidence in its range because of the battery. Now the battery is big and the battery is heavy, and it has a very bulky frame to hold it in place. There is a sister bike to the Romeo called the Juliet, and I believe it uses the same battery and has the same kind of size frame, but it has a different seat configuration. This bike really does look like kind of a dirt bike, motorcycle kind of thing. It has the very fat 4-inch tires. It has hydraulic disc brakes, which is great because the stopping power on this thing has to be pretty strong in order to get you to stop. It does have pedals and it does have pedal assist. This is the kind of pedal assist where when you pedal, it automatically kicks in at whatever level you have it set to. So there's 5 different levels of pedal assist. In pedal assist 1, pedal assist 2, pedal assist 3, pedal assist 4, and here goes pedal assist 5, 30 miles an hour, 31, miles an hour with the throttle. So when you start pedaling this, make sure you have plenty of room ahead of you if you're in pedal assist mode, because if you don't, it's going to push you right into whatever is in front of you. So you don't want to be facing a curb or a car or a garage. You want to be facing the open road when you start pedaling. It also does have a throttle on top, so if you want to ride with the throttle, you can do that. So assembling this bike was, I'd say, kind of a 5 out of 10 in terms of the ease. It wasn't the easiest bike to assemble, but it also wasn't super difficult. We did run into a couple of challenges. Number one, with the light. This bike is an upgraded version, and the instructions showed us a different way to assemble the light, but this light was assembled in a different way. Once I understood how that worked, it wasn't that hard to put the light on. And then another little tip on assembly is when you're putting the front tire on, be sure to remove the plastic piece that's in between the brake pads so that the tire's disc brake disc can fit into that space. If you're trying to push it in there and that piece of plastic's in, it won't go and you'll wonder why. I did have the front wheel come a little bit loose while I was riding it. I noticed that it was loose because I felt this kind of clunking when I turned. And so I was able to just tighten that front wheel, and once I did tighten the front wheel, it was fine. So keep a couple of tools with you so you can check and tighten things before you ride it, especially after the first 1 or 2 times that you ride it after it's assembled. Now, it is very heavy, and that's something that is good and bad. It's heavy, it's rugged, but it's also difficult to move around. It's really hard to pick up. The tires are too big to fit on most bike racks. So if you're going to transport it, you're going to need a pickup truck or a trailer to put it in to move it from place to place, or just ride it from place to place like I've been doing, because it's a lot of fun and that's the whole point of it, is to get you around commuting. Now the biggest downside for me on this bike is I'm tall and the seat is not adjustable. So as I'm riding, if I want to pedal, my knees are going up pretty high. I have to sit way back on the seat and you see my knees kind of going up and down. The answer to that is if you're tall and you want to ride on it, you can use the throttle, and then you don't pedal really. You just kind of use the pedals as a place to put your feet and use the throttle, and maybe to get going you use the pedals and then you just use the throttle from there. It's not bad, but honestly, if you're over 6 feet tall, I'd look at their sister bike, the Juliet, because it has a adjustable seat, whereas this one doesn't. It does have a cool display that you can turn on, and you can see your speed, you can see your mileage, you can see your level of pedal assist that you're in. This gives you a lot of dialogue and a lot of data on this display. It's easy to change the pedal assist by pushing the plus and minus buttons. It has 7 gears in the rear, so you can change between those 7 gears so that you can get an easier pedal or a more difficult pedal depending on how fast you're going. And again, pedaling is not too much of a factor on this bike because the pedal assist is so strong and aggressive. You can take the battery out. The battery is removable. You just need a little key to turn right here. You put the key in, turn it, and then it releases the battery. But you can also charge it while the battery is in it. It's pretty easy to do. It's got a little piece of rubber that flips up, and you can just plug it in while it's installed. If you had 2 batteries, you could obviously charge one while the other one was being ridden and then swap them out, so keep one charged all the time. So lots of convenience with regard to the battery. And like I said, the battery lasts a long time. So it's one of those things where if you wanted to ride this thing for quite a while, you probably could go with a full battery and ride it all day without a whole lot of trouble. I'm 225 pounds, so I'm probably at the heavier end of what this bike is designed to hold, but it holds me just fine. It doesn't seem to have any trouble. The rear shock doesn't really buckle under my weight at all. It kind of seems to be just fine. It's pretty rigid, and it's pretty comfortable for me. A couple of other things I really like about it are, the styling on the grips here. I like this kind of, I don't know if it's real leather or fake leather, but it looks really cool with this stitching. I like the red accents on some of the elements. I really love the frame. This frame just looks so solid and so awesome. It's very heavy, but it looks really cool. I mean, it looks like a tank. And I like the fact that they've included a headlight and a horn so that you could ride at night. And it's pretty bright. It has a tail light and it has blinkers you can turn on. So if you're making a left or a right turn, you can flip a little switch right here and these blinkers will indicate which way you're going. The headlight is pretty bright. It's an LED and it is adjustable to a high beam and a low beam, and you can also adjust the tilt on it. So if you want to aim it more down at the road or if you want to aim it a little bit more forward, it's pretty easy to tilt it, and then you can just tighten down these screws on the side that hold it. So overall, the Eahora Romeo is a very solid bike that looks like a dirt bike. I wouldn't use it for hardcore off-roading or mountain biking. I probably wouldn't use it if it was something I wanted to put into a bike rack and take with me to go on trips and such, because it is really big and heavy. But for commuting around in a city, going over some curbs, going off-road just a little bit onto like a dirt trail that's fairly smooth, it'll do fine on that. It's not going to do very well with big rocks and ledges, but for smooth dirt trails or smooth rock trails or gravel trails, it's going to do just fine.
Oh, got no front brakes.
So I'd love to know what you think about the Eahora Romeo. Please comment below. Let me know what you think about this bike and about e-bikes in general. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Ready, Set, Drone.
So we were thinking if you went up there, we could just chase you down across the creek. That would be a cool shot.